Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Not Too Comic Book. This being a show where I talk about TV shows that are adaptations of comic books. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about Witch Watch Season 1, Episode 7. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. So, this mainly revolves around Nico and Khan's attempt. You know, they've made a YouTube channel and they're making YouTube videos. I was not expecting Morihito to be kind of the YouTube critic that he is. More so, like, they didn't really go into it, but I guess he's a big fan of YouTube because he starts breaking some stuff down. He's just talking about, like, the videos being what they are. They're so random and scattershot. Even like their Let's Play video, it's not a recording of the screen and then recording of Khan playing. It's literally a camera view of recording him in the screen, like recording it that way. I'm sure that's a very, very, very like low grade version of recording a Let's Play. And then there's also the one where they're doing an unboxing and Khan's just like tapping at the thing because he's trying to get it open. And Nico's like, "Oh, do you want scissors?" And he's like, "No, I'll just keep doing this." And then Morihito's takeaway was, "Have you guys never heard of editing?" He's just disgusted by how they're doing this. Because the reason why they're doing it is like Khan was like, "Oh, we can make money." I'd assume Nico, well, she thinks like, "Oh yeah, making money it'd be fun and we're going to make money." I was wondering if Khan really pushed the money angle of it because he was saying that, I'm curious because as we know, like when he showed up here, he burned a lot of his own allowances. So I'm wondering if the only money he's really surviving off of is whatever money Morihito gets sent for the house. So they probably don't have any frivolous, like, you know, cash to kind of do whatever they want with it. So maybe that's what it was in conjunction with it just being fun. But Morihito like puts it real to them, like, you know, there's so many people, some youngsters these days who jump on the bandwagon or trying to be a YouTuber because they think like, oh, you'll hit it big and make a lot of money. It's like, no, you're going to need more subscribers and more views. And there's even one video he pulled up. It's like, this has got like 15 views. It's got 2 likes, 1 dislike. And he's just like, "Did you guys watch this over and over?" They're like, "No, we actually have comments, but it's from people from school." Because one of them was from Cuckoo and Kara. They say the negative comment was most likely from that dude who is in their class in episode 2 who was like, "Oh yeah, I like to go on stuff and like kind of leave negative comments." So it was him. So it's like, right, only people watching this are the people you know, which I think is so ironic considering like I'm in that same viewership range as them, but like I never I used to, but I never tell anyone about the stupid stuff I do or talk about on YouTube because you know, it's actually interesting. It kind of goes into the Keigo conversation as well. But either way, it becomes that thing of, once again, Morihito's dead set on like, I'm gonna make this a success. You guys have got to learn from someone else. And so I guess he knew just from conversations with Keigo that Keigo like has a YouTube channel and makes videos. It's not like he has a lot of subscribers either, but they try to go to him for advice. And obviously Keigo's got this very like pessimistic standpoint. I mean, I don't know if pessimistic is kind of supposed to be like the whole thing because he just seems very down, which, hey, I'm right there being like, "Oh, no one's gonna watch my stuff. It's very niche and it's not that real good," and yada yada yada, so on and so forth. And obviously it's pissing off Khan. He's just like, "Shut up and tell us what to do." In fact, like he has a video that's, because he does a little bit of everything. He's like, "Oh, I find very niche stuff. I talk about bands I like. I talk about movies I like." But he's like, "Yeah, it's such a niche thing. I don't think anyone will really like it." So they watch one of his videos and it's just him talking about this movie, but he doesn't really do an in-depth review. He's just rambling, which, hey, rambling reviews and with no substance right here. I felt so seen in that moment. But yeah, it's just like him being like, "Oh yeah, I love the first act and second act and third act of this movie." And they're like, "Well, what about the actual movie itself?" And then he starts going on diatribes and rambling about other stuff about what he likes. And just Khan's getting more upset because they're pressing the like 2 times speed, 3 times, like they're increasing the speed of the video. And it's like, "When are you getting to the actual video?" He's like, "Well, in a later half of the video." He's like, "Stop rambling and just get straight to the point." Which I'm like, I'm sure a lot of people feel that anyone that comes across my reviews says the exact same thing. Once again, I feel so seen. But yeah, they're going through like his videos aren't getting like the greatest reviews, but then it's just kind of like, I love that. What was it? Morihito had said something about like kind of like how Keigo is kind of using this as kind of feeling some kind of building up his own self-worth or something like that. But yeah, he does have one video that I think it was like, I think it was, was it 12,000 or was it 1.2 2,000 views, whatever the case may be, it's because he had made a game. And so learning all the tips and tricks about editing, making a thumbnail, picking a very specific subject, they end up making an actual Let's Play video with Morihito filming it. They actually made an intro and stuff like that. And it's like, right, you got to throw stuff up to kind of attract people. Got to make thumbnails and topics and things that would, like, you got to do stuff that will get people's attention. So, a lot of inside baseball stuff for YouTube. And it's not really inside baseball, but it's like the baseline for YouTube stuff. Which I don't really utilize any of it, which I should, would probably benefit me in the long run. It's always interesting when, like, the only other series I'm not saying it's the only one that does this, but it's the only series I've ever come across is Viral Hit. It's a more action-y series that revolves around YouTube uploading like fights and stuff to YouTube. Obviously, it's a webtoon manga that is complete, but also it was adapted into a 12-episode anime. I haven't looked into it, so I don't know if they ever got a second season or not. But anyway, tangents and all that. It's like the only other thing I ever know that's ever really kind of going like that I've ever watched. I should specify. It's the only thing anime / manga wise, or that I've ever come across that kind of gets into the weeds of how YouTube works and stuff like that. It's actually really interesting. So kind of getting another show that kind of does that, even if it's just a one-off episode thing, I think is really neat. But yeah, like, Nico's meant to be like the focus of the video, and she's the one actually playing the game. And then Khan isn't actually on camera, but his voice is there because someone had commented on him having like a nice, like, he has a voice of a voice actor or something like that. But yeah, Nico's playing the game, and it's like you're supposed to play these two grasshoppers. I don't really know what the point of the game is, but like how it's gonna be a weird reference. If you're familiar with the game Killer 7, the blood splatter from the grasshoppers made me think of that. First and foremost, I wasn't expecting like there to be as much blood from those grasshoppers. It's kind of gruesome. Like, there's spikes everywhere and you run into them, but you're kind of controlling two grasshoppers at once. And it's like, wow, we haven't made any progress at all, because she's like, when she jumps too high and ends up dying. So it's kind of a mess of a situation. But yeah, like, and then we see Keiko and Morihito editing, which I did like that. Obviously, we set up them kind of bonding last episode, and even Nico's like, when did you guys become friends? And Morihito's like, we're not friends, we just talk or whatever. It's like, I think he's the closest thing Morihito's had to a friend outside of Nico in a very long time. Obviously, like, him and Khan are friends, but they kind of butt heads. It's kind of like, I don't know if they call that a true blue friendship, even though it kind of is one. It's a complicated one. But yeah, like, Morihito doesn't really have much experience with friendship, so he doesn't know that this actually is a full-blown friendship, no matter how much you want to categorize it, maybe otherwise. But yeah, when it was all said and done, they stayed up late putting the video together, and it actually went viral for them. It wasn't like crazy, but like going from the two-digit views, sorry, it's like their most views. And, well, no, I think they had one that was like 400 something, didn't they? Or is that Keigo? I can't remember. Either way, they end up getting videos that are like in the thousands of views, which I'm like, hey, that's pretty impressive. And it's like, oh, we had some success. Oh my God, look at the views. And it's like, yeah, because Morihito's coming at it from the perspective of, we basically have to lean in and take advantage of everyone's characteristics. Like, the game being as weird as it is, leaning into the uniqueness and like nicheness of Keigo, plus Khan's like little like side commentary jabs he's making, and also leaning into Nico's cuteness, which obviously hearing that from Morihito made her perk up. So, it's like, yeah, this is great. And they proceeded to do 3 more videos, and then they quit. Because he's like, oh, so what are we going to film today? And they're just like, we're bored. It's like, he's like, I literally told you from the beginning, youngsters jump on this because they think it's kind of a fad. You get interested in it, and then you immediately get bored because it is a lot of upkeep. So I just thought that was funny, like that to be the resolution to it. Because I was like, are you going to keep this up? Because I was worried, like, are you going to use your magic? Even though you kind of put yourself out there, at school, that's one thing, versus the people in the neighborhood don't know you do magic and stuff. That's only literally everyone at school. But outside of that, like, the last thing you want to do is put a target on your back as being like a witch. Like, school is fine because hasn't been an issue so far, but but I was wondering if they were going to like make content based around that and their powers, but it's like, no. And obviously, Morihito was never going to allow them to do that anyway, so. But yeah, So that's the end of the first half of the episode. The second half of the episode, we get introduced to Suzuka, and she seems like she's so awesome and great in every way. And Nico's like, oh, she's so awesome. I bet you she's great at everything she does. She's so prim and proper. And it's like, I bet you a girl like her is what Morihito would be into. So she wants to learn from Suzuka to be like great like she is. And I thought that was going to be the crux of the episode, but it turns out, no, Suzuka seems like she's got it all together, but she doesn't. For her, it's like, I have all this knowledge from these lessons my grandmother gives me and forces me to do, but the problem is I have all this knowledge, I'm not good at executing it. It's like when she tries to do traditional dancing, she looks like she's a possessed doll, marionette dancing. When she tries to make like rearrange a plant, it looks like some kind of demonic thing. When she tries to write a poem, it looks like some kind of demonic spell. Which even Morihito's like, why is everything related to like the bad stuff that you do like related to demons? And so Suzuka wants to like have Nico help her. It's like, give me a spell that makes me better at things. But it's like, and like even her way of asking for help isn't good. But it turns out like her grandmother wants her to perform like a tea ceremony, and she's like, if I fail this tea ceremony, my grandmother's gonna like double my lesson, or not even double, but give me a crap ton more lessons. So I need to do this to kind of break free from her. I was curious at first. I was thinking like when she had Morihito and Suzuka like hold out their hands, I was like, is she going to make them switch bodies? And Mori in her body has to like do everything, which body swapping probably will. That seems like a comedic enough thing where I'm like, I could definitely see that being applicable in this situation. It's probably going to be like a Morihito and Nico switching bodies situation at some point. It's like that feels like this series is ripe for something, a storyline like that. Whether it'll be a full episode or not, or whether it's just going to be a segment in a multi-segmented episode, we'll have to wait to see. But it feels like that would be right up this series' alley. But either way, the spell actually is making them mimic each other's moves. So it's like, okay, Morihito actually learning all the tea ceremony stuff, which he really got into it. He did some research on his own, plus he worked with the tea ceremony club. Obviously, all this makes me immediately think of... once again, I'm sorry, Trails of Cold Steel 3. It's a more pertinent parallel because there's actually a tea ceremony club in that game, because that game is kind of like Persona-esque, where like there's a school life aspect to it. I mean, well, there's plenty of other like visual novels and things that have a school life element to it, but Persona's like the biggest like JRPG that kind of has those elements. So, but yeah, Trails of Cold Steel 3 has a tea ceremony club, and there's actually a side quest related to it. It doesn't go in depth the way this does, but some of the same elements are a pop up in that. It's like, oh, you have to make the right choices to get the most amount of point for completing quests by making the right choices. So I felt kind of like, oh, this is kind of a neat little thing. So they're set up in a completely different room, and they're going to cast a spell and make Morihito enact everything, but Suzuka in the same room as her grandmother will be doing everything. So he's wearing basically almost like this VR headset with the phone pointed forward, because she is going to be wearing glasses with a camera, because Keigo's hooking them up with this. And so they don't have time for a trial run, because like... Suzuka's grandmother's like, we got to do this now. And so it's like, you have to prove yourself. So, but the problem is a lot of the moves Morihito is making aren't applicable. They're like, for example, when he like tries to open the door and he can't quite get it, because it's like, once again, it's such a weird, almost video game-esque element of like you're handling it third person, even though you're coming at it from a first person view. It is still kind of third person because he's kind of controlling her body. So, and her attempts to you got to get on your thumb and kind of like slide forward, but the problem is the amount of force he needs to move his body is different from her, so it looks like she's just like hopping like in her position. And it's like, I love that, because it's like, yeah, the spell doesn't compensate for like specific nuanced elements and very nitty-gritty details like that. So does everything, the sweet you're supposed to eat, he eats it pretty quickly, but it's because the substitute thing he's eating from his perspective is different from what she's eating, so she almost chokes on it. He drinks the tea with really good form, but the problem is like it's stuck on her mouth, so you have to wipe the bowl, even though you're supposed to wipe it with your fingertip, which is something I learned from Trails of Cold Steel 3. Because like that is also a thing too, like you're supposed to eat the sweet first in its entirety and then drink the tea and then wipe it with your finger. But he's also like wiping it with the thing, but rather than wiping his mouth. So I'm like, everything is kind of wrong in that regard, and it's such a mishap. And she fails, and her grandmother's talking about like, right, the movements from this and martial arts, you're not learning what you're supposed to learn from it. It's supposed to kind of teach you like what's at the heart of yourself. Like it's kind of like a Karate Kid wax on wax off type of situation of like what you're supposed to learn from it. But then like a hornet jumps in there and her grandmother's freaking out about it, and Morihito uses one of his skills to immediately capture it, and she's flabbergasted by Suzuka's movements. It's like, oh my god, that was so amazing. She was like, it's such a perfect, beautiful form. So Suzuka now passed, but now there's more tests ahead, and she's like, oh, like Morihito, can you do it? He's like, no, I already did enough for you, and we're not doing that again. So we'll see if we catch up with Suzuka going forward. I'm assuming like probably there's a lot of, like I said, one-off with like, there might be some of these characters we might like see recurring at some point in time, but there probably are a lot of like students from her school are going to be one-offs. That's interesting too, because like a lot of it is handling stuff on the school, because they're the only ones who know about her being magical. Because I was wondering like, could we see this be applicable in the neighborhood? But it's like, well, they don't know about her being magical, so unless that comes up in the future, it's just probably going to be a school related thing of helping out people at school who know about you being a witch and stuff. So just another fun episode. I'm really curious to see where the next episode ends up taking us going forward with all of this. But really, that's all I want to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.